Welcome to Attican Plays Railway Empire. All right, hi, this is Attican and welcome to another Railway Empire quick guide. This one, we're going to go over a 3-city cluster with warehouses. And let me go into track construction and pause this. So we've got 3 cities here we're growing: Toledo, Grand Rapids, and Indianapolis. We started out with Toledo around 45,000 or so. No, just about pushing 60,000. And then Grand Rapids was small, 25, 30,000. Same thing for Indy, 25 or 30,000. We had a meat industry in Indy. We bought that and replaced it with a clothing company because we had just put in textiles up here in Toledo as its second industry. So you got meat and textiles and clothing down here. We had beer up here. That's how we started. Now, this design is really super simple. We have most of it. We have city-to-city lines between each combination of 2 cities. City-to-city Grand Rapids to Indy, Indy to Toledo, Toledo to Grand Rapids. So that way the goods produced in any of the 3 cities can be shipped to the other 2 cities, so that each industry has 3 customers, if you will, for its goods. The city it's in plus 2 other cities. Now, the key to this particular design is the way the warehouses are set up. There are 3 warehouses. Each one has within its catchment area the city itself, so it can supply the city directly. And what the design has is the I see a mistake up here. Let me fix this real fast. I have a supply tower up there. Okay, so what we have here is a design where the warehouses each take 2 of the 6 items we want to carry. So this warehouse right here takes in corn and logs, and that's why I called it the corn log warehouse. And you'll see I've got it set up though. It also takes in wheat and, well, it takes in the corn and logs plus wheat and sugar and milk and veggies. And all 3 of the warehouses will take in each of those 6 goods, but they each have 2 that are shipped directly to them. Corn and logs go into this warehouse. Up here in this warehouse, we have wheat and veggies going into that one. And down here in Indy, we have sugar and milk going into this one. And then the key to make all this work is the way you set up your lines is, let's take, for example, this one going from the sugar milk warehouse to the corn log warehouse. If we look at its line, see, did you notice the train has picked up sugar and milk? Well, the only thing that it's allowed to pick up from the sugar and milk warehouse is that, sugar and milk. Any of these other items would have been brought there from another warehouse for Indianapolis's use, so we don't want them to be then turned around and picked up and taken somewhere else. So at each warehouse, you only pick up the 2 items that it specializes in. So sugar milk here, and then in the corn log, you see you can only pick up corn and logs. You can't pick up the other items. So you've got a simple situation here where we have a direct line from the sugar milk warehouse to the corn log warehouse. That's going to move corn and logs from over here to over here. It's going to move sugar and milk up to here. And then to complete the cycle for Indy, we have a direct line from the sugar milk up to the wheat and veggies, and that's going to move wheat and veggies from up here down to Indy, and it'll move sugar and milk up to the warehouse for Grand Rapids. That way all 3 cities get all 6 goods, but we only have to run 2 into each warehouse, and we don't have to run a ton of trains. Our traffic flow is beautiful. The one exception I would take to the one thing that got a little crowded was right through here, because we have so much logs and wheat and everything coming into this line. And because when we want to set up the line between Toledo and Grand Rapids, at first these trains you see right here running down through here were actually running over here on this set of 2. So everybody was over here and it got a little crowded. So this little congestion right here was worse. And it's still a little bit congested, but it's starting to open up now because I've just fixed it, because I've changed it and put these over here. Now, how in the world, oops, sorry, let me close that out. How was I able to do that? on these lines, it was simple to control because you don't have control in these. I'm using the super stations all around, and because you can't specify a platform, what you do to control to make them run on a certain set of tracks, where they have two choices here, is put waypoints. So there's Toledo, and then there's a waypoint that says for it to run on this track right here, and then on Grand Rapids. When you come out of Grand Rapids, you run on this track right here, and that moved all those trains over out of the way. And this is starting to clear up, as I said, and we're getting good flow. Now, the big thing to notice is look at the size of these cities. We're in our third year. It started in 30, so we're about 2 years and 10 months into this. And Toledo is now at a size of 267,000 people, with 3 businesses. Grand Rapids is at a size of 171,000 people. And, we just saw a problem there. Indy is at 169,000 people. So you can see the growth you get here. And here's where we've got our crowding. All right, let's see if we can't fix this. Because that is slowing down everything. Even as well as all this is working, it could be better if this wasn't getting clogged down right here. So what all is going on? One thing, we have a signal right here that shouldn't be here. There's a signal right here that says you can go up here and wait, but that's bogging down these trains here, tying this one up. So what we're going to have to do to fix that is delete a train, and while it's still stopped, delete that signal. Now that'll clear up that side of it. Actually, that cleared up the whole thing. That was our problem. And this is something I'm working on trying to get better at. When you run a line in like this, you can't have a signal coming down here like this to allow trains to get part way over. They've got to be able to get all the way out. So now, of course, it's going to break down on us. That's okay, though. All right, so run those veggies. All right, so that took care of our little problem. It's a little slow over here, but main reason, we have a ton of wheat. I've got a lot of wheat trains loaded up here because we're going through the wheat like crazy. These large cities, see this brewery, it can hold a ton of wheat. So you need a tremendous amount to be in your warehouse in order to be able to even get wheat to go back out to the other cities. But be that as it may, even with a little slowdown right here and our little goof up right there, these cities never stop growing. I mean, they grew the entire time I ran this for 2 years and 10 months, and they're still growing. We're now starting our 4th year. We've been at it 3 years. We're at 286,000, and look at this. We're still getting tremendous growth. The other key is that we have 9 distinct and usable supplyable industries in here. We have meat, and that also gives you leather in this time period. We have meat and leather and textiles and a distillery. And the only thing we had to do for the distillery, we already had sugar coming into our system, was add this fruit line and run fruit directly into Toledo, into the city. That gives us the distillery, so it can get what it needs, both fruit and sugar. We have a direct line for the cattle going into Toledo, which I think you should always do. Run your cattle directly to whoever is your meat producer. We have a direct line for the cotton running in, so do that for whoever's your textile producer. And then the rest of these are fed out of the warehouse. We have over here the tailor and a dairy farm and a furniture industry. And we have up here, we have a brewery, which I've never bothered to purchase, and he's got it up to level 5. We've got a sawmill and we've got a paper mill. And as long as you get 9 distinct industries, all 3 of these cities can grow to, as you can see, to huge sizes. And this simple setup right here will take care of their needs up to a very large number. We're up to 300,000. Here, Toledo's up to 300,000. And we could... And 300,000 and growing. Where are we? Grand Rapids now. Just in the time we've been talking, 187,000 now. It has kind of ground down a little bit. And again, I think part of that is the slowness right here. I'd probably want to fix that. And one thing you could do to fix that would be to add another station here and make a direct line for wheat into Grand Rapids, because it's got that level 5 brewery that is just churning down. It needs eight wheat a week. That's a lot. You need a train rolling in there constantly to supply just Grand Rapids with wheat. But at any rate, I thought that would be a pretty cool thing to show you, because it just shows you the power of these clusters. And again, direct lines to haul your goods. The warehouses, each one having 2 goods. Make sure that you set up your warehouse to warehouse line so that the exchange of goods is only picking up the items that each of those warehouses specializes in, so to speak. Run your dedicated lines for certain products that you need, and there you have just tremendous city growth. Very, very rapid. Now, of course, if you were doing this in a real scenario, you couldn't set up all of this at once, as I've done here in the sandbox. But you could put this together, start with maybe a 2-city cluster, then expand it out, keep growing it. You could expand this over time and build this out and have yourself 3 monster cities. Look at this, 200,000 in Indianapolis. I'm starting to grind down on our growth because we're starting to hit the max on what this will support. Almost 200,000 in Grand Rapids, and again, it's starting to grow again. We're over 300,000 in Toledo. So I hope you can see the power of these 3-city clusters, and I hope you see the simplicity of the setup. If you have it designed correctly, it's a super simple setup and very easy to implement. And you could use this as the basis for your economy for lots of different scenarios that you would encounter. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Railway Empire video. Thank you.